today is something different. Something different. A bot I've been dying to review, and I've been looking for the right time to do it. And of course, this is going to be done in 3 parts to get to Omega Prime. So the first part is, of course, with Transformers RID 2001 Optimus Prime, but better probably known as Fire Convoy. I think with this bot, I know more as Fire Convoy than anything else. Don't look at it as like the traditional Optimus Prime, in the sense, well, Prime's always been a truck to me. And similar to like sort of God Ginrai, Fire Convoy seems to be the more adequate name I give this bot. It's Fire Convoy to me. But this is the American and European release, and you can know this by pressing the button. And I thought he was going to say something, but there you go. So he has got some features with the electronics, which I did change the batteries in. This wasn't my original version. So this was second-hand off eBay. So there is 2 parts missing. One missile, and most noticeably the little pistol he's got, which is not a big loss to me. I don't like that pistol, but it would have been nice having a complete set of this bot. He is massive, and like sort of the wheels on it just run so smooth. Those rubber tires are back. Size comparison, there's only one bot you can truly see a unique size to this, and that is, of course, in the next video we have his brother Ultra Magnus, or God Magnus, and that shows you like sort of the length of this bot. He is long. We'll get to him in the next video, but Fire Convoy has got something unique to it, and he has kind of got that cult status round about him, with new re-releases and third party, as in statues as well, and different colour schemes of this bot. He has got a unique taste, and a lot of people do love him. He was re-released in an Encore edition, except that one, if I remember, did have faults with it. I can't remember what the faults were, but it was a dual pack with this Optimus Prime and that Ultra Magnus. Bought as second hand. It is in great condition. So let's zoom in, and I want to show these tyres off, because right on those tyres you can make out it saying Fire Convoy, which I thought was such a unique touch, especially when this being the Western version of them. But the colour scheme on them is beautiful. That red just pops instantly, along with the grey, the nice chrome that hasn't been touched up at all. There's nothing on this bot I've done to touch up. The wheels being nice chrome, everything just stands out so much. So with the voices, you heard them doing the siren, you heard them saying Optimus Prime Maximize. He's got a blast effect, if I can find it. And there you go. So there is 3 modes this bot goes into. One, of course, is the fire truck. Second being the main body of Optimus Prime, or Fire Convoy, along with like a base mode, but you can put attachments on just that robot, and then of course you combine them all together. With the likes of this version, it has got some like different things on it as well. You can press this button and 2 nozzles come out the front of the ladder. I don't think any will fit like the 5mm ones, so let's have a look. No, just slightly too small, but it's unique in that sense where it's pretty cool. My one here tends to like pop off there, but everything is lined up correct on the other side. But this stands more as a display in Omega Prime or God Convoy. I keep it that way. I don't really like having the 2 of them separated now that I have this version. The Ultra Magnus was the original version I got back in 2002 when I bought him. So let's get him transformed. Let's look at the first mode and base mode of Fire Convoy, and we'll look at the figure. And here is Fire Convoy Optimus Prime. We're just sticking with Fire Convoy now because it's going to start getting confusing. Just in standard robot mode, and I love this figure. I really do like the look of this figure. He's solid, and that is the most important thing, I think, when you look back at these Transformer figures with Beast Wars and this set it came out, and then you go into like Energon, Cybertron, like those bots were solid. Articulation on the guy, arms can go all the way around, nice little elbow joint. Come to the legs, you can make them do that. Swivel waist as well. But it was so unique. The detail in the face I think is great. I just love the look of that. And if you move it down, the colour scheme's spot on. The blue paint is beautiful. And it just kind of sums up that bot. I think it looks really good when you consider the nemesis you had in Megatron and Galvatron in that series is Predacons. That 6-way Megatron's just incredible. But having like the metallic red paint here, the chrome here, just you don't get to see that as much now in the bots. But he defo does look the part. Another thing you can do is you can build a base or a defense platform out of the rest of the fire truck when he's in that robot mode. And it's just basically combining all the parts to form this. It shows you how tall it is. But having all these parts like this when he's out of Super Fire Convoy mode, I definitely like this. One thing you can do if you want, you can break apart, as you can see here, everything, and you can install these rocket launchers at the top here. Just pegs. They just peg straight into his shoulders. And there you go. So you've got these rocket launchers on it as well. You can add likes of the fists. They close up and that gives him, I can't remember what the attack he's got on it. I don't like it. I don't like these big gigantic fists on this small body. But I do like the rocket launchers on top of Fire Convoy. I was going to say Prime there. I wish I had the pistol for this scenario because it does look quite menacing, like how he can take on the Predacons. But it does look good. So let's get everything combined into Super Fire Convoy mode and finish up the video. And here is all the parts combined. Now, I'm not going to make them move about or anything because when they're all on, they've got a tendency to pop off, and it's just the way the figure is. When you think of it, it's nearly 20 years old, and my one does like to pop off certain parts. But you can see where the hands, like, he can grab really much anything. So, Convoy, hold my tweezers. Thank you. So, it looks amazing. It really genuinely does look amazing. The other thing I didn't show was the missiles, which you can see here in the back where the ladder is. They fire out. My ones like to pop out and then fire on their own. I am not doing that in camera, as much as that would be hilarious to see. I'm not doing it. But the figure does look incredible. I've swapped these parts around. Like, you can put these parts, the shoulder pads, on any side really, but I like to do it this way. It gives it more colour. But that mode looks brilliant. And it helped with the weight. The ladder has to face down, and that supports basically him standing up, as you can see. But with all the parts combined, he looks menacing as hell. I mean, the face for Fire Convoy just looks brilliant. That chrome, like, water cannons he's got for antennas look great as well. The silver Autobot badge, or Cybertronian badge, looks great. And there's just nothing I can really complain about this bot. It's one of these ones where I think if you're a Transformers collector and you don't have it, especially if you collect Optimus Prime or any of the Japanese versions of Prime, like, I prefer the Japanese version. Like, I love Gunrai. I think that version of Prime to me is my favourite because that was the first one I got. course, that was the Generation 1 Power Masters. But having anything that was Japanese related to Optimus Prime is always great to have, and I think this one is a definite in the collection, especially if you have the God Magnus or Ultra Magnus from RID 2001 to go along with it, to combine them into Omega Prime. Pulling it back, just so you can get a height difference, because I've not transformed Magnus yet. He's still in truck mode because that's of course going to be the next video. Continuing with Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001, or Transformers Car Robots, we have now Ultra Magnus. Now, what's unique about this Magnus is we've seen it being used again in the Siege line. If you watched any of my Siege reviews, I showcased how they've basically took the truck mode and made that from this into the new Ultra Magnus. Unfortunately, there's not much else you can say about this truck, as everything you see is basically it. There's nothing you can do different, because it is mostly just a combiner to Fire Convoy. But it is a great take on it. I got this back in 2002, and I paid roughly £35 brand new for them. And when you think in this day and age, that is roughly the price of Earthrise Starscream. It's insane when you think nearly 20 years ago, but obviously pricey inflation, stuff like that. But the bot is cool. I've always digged them. And he was like my Ultra Magnus to my Armada Prime, because I never had Fire Convoy at the time. So I was happy to have this Ultra Magnus, or God Magnus as he's known in Japan. So the same with Fire Convoy. If we come down to the tyres, we'll zoom in nice for this, sharpen up. He's got a nice Transformers lettering going across. And if I come to the back, you can just make out God Magnus. Again, rubber tyres, they feel fantastic. Mine's are still going good. Everything on them is actually fine. I actually changed the batteries on him as well. So if we were to press the button, and you have to push in different buttons to get different sayings. So if we push in a button that's under this part, he'll shoot like a bazooka rocket. And that's all to do with his gun, this being it. Now, it can sit on top of Magnus at the front or at the back. Unfortunately, my one only slides down one of the sides, and then the other side doesn't like to grip on. But to give you a rough idea of what it's meant to look like, if we take it and we just put it on, that's roughly, that's Magnus's gun, which can be used in God Convoy mode as well. On the other side, it's the exact same. So if I come over and press the other button, and that gives a machine gun sound effect. And it's basically because you've got a cannon there and like a Gatling gun there. The missile launcher's up the top as well. Size comparison, I have nothing. I have nothing transformed on a truck. But if you watch the Fire Convoy video, I'll link it just now, that shows you roughly the size. These guys are long and they're big. And it was when bot building was great. It wasn't cheap plastic. They were really good. And they went really overboard. Look at the chrome. Just look at that front. And that is the reason I did the Siege Magnus to look like that. I just love that look of Ultra Magnus. Just that silver, metallic blue, which kind of matches the Fire Convoy metallic red with the gold Autobot logo. But as we know in the cartoon, he's a bit of a strange one. And how God Convoy all came about was he just basically tried to double cross Prime.
Now, Optimus!
Optimus, there may not be much time. I have something to tell you.
Magnus, please, help me!
I don't know if I can, Prime. I've come to make amends.
You have?
Yes, and I'm sorry. I didn't have to be jealous.
That's very good to hear, brother. But I don't understand what changed your mind about me.
I've seen some of the good deeds that you've done for the people of this planet. I can no longer be jealous when you clearly deserve your glory. Forgive me, brother, and accept my apology.
Thank you, Ultra Magnus. I do, yes.
You're just as gullible as you always were, Prime.
And that's all that came about. But you can put on any of the cars up here if you've got any of the RID cars. Some Armada cars can fit on top of that as well. I think if I can, don't know if it'll fit, but there's Siege Megatron, and it's okay. It's okay, but he can fit on those tracks. So let's get him transformed, look at robot mode, compare him to Fire Convoy, and we'll finish up the video. And here is Ultra Magnus in robot mode, and I've attached the gun just so you can get an idea what he's like holding it. But he's not the sturdiest, as I remember. And it gives you a rough idea, he is quite long. But there's not a lot of movement in him because where the legs join is basically here. So these legs are very hollow. Now, if I take the gun off, and we'll take it aside, and I'll turn round. Hopefully he stays up. That gives you a rough idea. There is basically nothing behind him. And the backpack is heavy because that's where like the electronics are, for the voices and stuff. And you can see mine's is starting to go a bit yellow, especially in the arms and just where the white parts are. Just because this was always in the transformation mode like this, it was hardly ever in car mode, truck to be fair, and that was that. So when it comes to posability, really the only thing you've got is the arms. They can go all the way around, but they're kind of stuck on these bits, which are for the weapon noises when you push everything in. So when it comes to the figure being like this, it's just really, he's kind of display only, and that's the sad thing about it. But most of all, what he was really meant for was the combination for Fire Convoy, which I had to wait, like I said, until I could get it. So this guy stayed like this for God knows how many years. When I started collecting, this was one of the earliest ones I bought, and I still love him to this day, no matter what faults I have with him. Very tall. He does look like Ultra Magnus, and I love the colour scheme. Zooming on in the head sculpt, I do wish this version, I don't know if the Japanese one has it or the reissue, I wish that little symbol there was gold, just to match the front of the truck or when it's in God Convoy. But yeah, it's quite a hollow bot, especially if I was to do this. Yeah, it is quite hollow. But the thing is the backpack, it gives it a bit of weight. There is a lot of weight in this Transformer that keeps it standing up. So if we're going to go for the all-important size comparison, there's only one bot we can do it with because the two of them are going to combine next, and I might have a few little surprises in the next video because it might be a short video. But if we bring back in Fire Convoy, and that gives you a rough idea with the height. The two of them do have a bit of a height difference, but the two of them are great bots, especially when everything on Magnus combines to basically the body of Prime. I will have to take off all the attachments, you'll see in the video, but it's a great combination for God Convoy. It's going to look cool, and that was one reason why I always wanted to have these two guys together. I think having one and not the other does ruin that effect of God Convoy or Omega Prime, and the two of them are worth the pickup. Like I said, Magnus is worth it if you can find him at a reasonable price. It's just be warned, he is not the most posable bot. There's really hardly anything you can do with him, but as a collector's item, he is fantastic. But I wanted to show off these little guys. Got them off eBay. My mum got me them. And I thought it'd be quite fitting just to add these guys in before we do the ultimate combination with those two in the back. So the little spy bots are pretty cool. Easy to transform. You can see what they were like underneath. And they're quite reminiscent of the mini bots from Generation 1. And that's what I liked about these little guys. They're quite cool to have. Crosswise is probably my favourite. I just love that see-through look he's got. It really does look cool to sharpen that camera up for him. And he looks fantastic. Transformation of these guys are simple. Just pull down the legs, flip out the arms, pull back the head, and there you go. There's one. Do hot shot. Same again. And let's finally do Ironhide as this bull cow truck. I dig this. I really do. And I've seen somebody repaint the Siege one to match this. But there you go. There's the spy bots. And with Omega Prime. Now, let's get to the main part of this video. Let's combine Optimus Prime to Ultra Magnus, or Fire Convoy to God Magnus to form Omega Prime God Convoy. Let's get this done.
After I drain your energy, I'll take the Matrix and return home as the rightful king of Cybertron.
You'll regret this, Ultra Magnus.
I really doubt it. What are you doing? I've taken your energy. I'm being forced into some kind of combiner mode.
Ultimate Energy Combiner, Omega Prime!
And here is God Convoy, or Omega Prime, combined with Ultra Magnus. I wanted to do something just a tad different, combining them, because he's not the easiest to combine. And what I mean by that, he's very, very loose in a sense. He's not sturdy when you're piecing all the parts together. The main problem seems to be the legs, and you can see round about the back there that it's just twisting a fraction, and it's starting to like bevels. It does take a bit to settle this spot, and it's not like a major issue, but like if you're looking at it as a toy, there is an issue because the parts are just going to constantly come off. But to have Magnus combine into this with Optimus Prime, Fire Convoy, God Magnus, whatever you want to call this now, is incredible to look at. I just love the detail, like with the bumper from Magnus and using like gold antennas now instead of the silver, just pop instantly. The hands just look amazing as well. Everything about this bot just, it screams like leadership to me. From the Japanese series, and that was one thing I loved from it. There is a few voice changes. Let's see if we can do it. So I'm going to attach the gun. Let's see if we can get Omega Fire. Right, I've done it this way because this is going to be the easiest way to shoot it. He's not the easiest bot to work with when he's in this mode, I've got to admit. But let's see if we can get Omega Fire, because the way you've got to do it, when the cab comes down on that body, everything's got to be connected correctly. So let's go around the back of Magnus. Hopefully it says something. Come on. If I can find the button. Nope, that's what I'm going to get. He's meant to say Omega Fire. Once everything's connected and there's 4 buttons, it's going to be pushed in at the same time. So somewhere in this is not connected right. and it's not the easiest, like I said. And that's how I thought I'd do like still images, showcasing like all the parts going on when he's combining. Something different, but in general, the look of the guy is brilliant. And that's what I wanted. I wanted this look. Just having this look of like a prime or a convoy all joined together is fantastic. And I had to wait a while to get it. Is it worth getting 2 guys for this mode? I totally think it is. Having God Convoy or a Mega Prime, having, I've said in the 2 videos before it, having Ultra Magnus, having Optimus Prime, they're fantastic figures from RID. And to get this out of it is incredible. Unfortunately, the Encore edition at the start, when it first came out, there was issues with it. They addressed the issues to Kara and re-released it. It's up to yourself if you want to get that one. Just make sure it is like the second phase. If not, go for eBay and see if you can get like the original copies. I have now found Shapeways. They've done the 3D printed part for my Laser Optimus Prime. They can actually do the pistol for Optimus Prime in this, and just in the fire engine mode, so I'm going to actually get it and paint it, so I've got the completed part for that. But yeah guys, this is a bot I wanted to do. He's worth it, but be warned, there is issues with the legs when you're combining them. He has to be spot on when you're doing it. Not very poseable in this mode. You just have to stand menacing. But if you want a size comparison now, if we pull back a little fraction, let's bring back in Siege Jetfire. Just put him behind. And there you go. Gives you a rough idea of the height. So he's nearly the same height as Siege Jetfire. And that's what you're working with this bot. Guys, thank you for letting me share this one with you. This is something that I've always wanted to do. I wanted to do a video with it. And trying something different just for this guy. I just wanted to do something different for this guy. For a different look. And I'm happy I did. I think it's going to turn out well when I actually see it all done together. But please, as always, stay safe. And I will catch you in the next Optimus Wilbur reviews, which will be Siege Megatron with the Toy Hacks decals and upgrades. Catch you next time. Thank you for everyone who tuned in today's video. If you want to make Baby Grimlock happy, why not hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. All new videos are always coming right here in Optimus Wilbur reviews. If you'd like to follow me in any of my social media links, all the descriptions are in the description box below. And of course, as always, I cannot stress this enough, I wish to thank Cybertronic Spree for allowing me to use their song Cybertronic Warrior as the theme of this channel. Guys, this is an incredible band, it does incredible covers, and recently just done an amazing album of the Transformers 1986 movie soundtrack. Please follow them and all their social media links. I have every description in the description box below. Please check them out, and as always, Transformer fans, till all are one.